Hey Derek, it's me, Paul. Don't have a stand, so crap on my screen. So I had us watch Dirty Rotten Scoundrels. Michael Caine and the name just popped out of my head. Holy crap, Steve Martin. I had it. I could see him. It just popped out of my head. Just gone. No, get back here. Both of them con artists. Michael Caine, more of the high-end con artist. Steve Martin as kind of your general average shyster, I guess would be the best way to describe him. I mean, he's not running three-card Monte, but I mean, he's not conning he's not conning rich heiresses out of hundreds of thousands of dollars at a go, which is Michael Caine's shtick. I think that might work for holding my phone. So, I mean, that's hilarity ensues because they end up crossing paths. Michael Caine hears about this American con artist master named the Jackal coming into town and thinks that it's Martin, and oops, it's not. Excuse me. Sorry about that. And honestly, I like this movie. It's very well rounded. You almost kind of have this odd balance of your types of humor, with Martin portraying far more slapstick, especially since this is, I forgot what year. I'll look it up before I post this and have that listed. It's right there in the title. But at the time, Steve Martin was in his 40s and Michael Caine was starting down 60. So, Michael Caine, far more of a serious actor, pretty much always has been. Even when he does his comedies, which are few and far between, he's more satire, he's kind of drier in his humor. He's this straight man. That's really what it is. He is the perfect straight man. His punchlines are based on the fact that it's beautiful wordplay. It's one of those. He gets to laugh because his character is ignorant of something that the viewer isn't, or he's purposefully saying something but not doing the which is what you would expect out of Martin's character, the fall guy, the Costello to Caine's Abbott in this sense. And if I could remember which one was Laurel and which one was Hardy, it would make my life easier because I could say them too. And we're going to leave the Marx Brothers out of it, along with the Stooges, because that's what happens when you get a really good team of nothing but fall guys. Because, come on, even Groucho was a fall guy. He was the smart fall guy, but he was a fall guy. So, plot quickly becomes, back to Dirty Rotten Scoundrels, plot becomes Caine is trying to get Martin off of his turf. Martin doesn't want to leave. So Caine goes, I know, I'll teach you. We'll run a couple of cons, get you some money, get you some experience. Okay. A problematic now but hilarious sequence ensues. It's beauty. It really is. It really relies on Martin being the fall man over anything. And it's Martin being glorious at it. Then, so we have that sequence. Payout comes. Martin gets the value of experience. Screw you, I'm out. Hello, what? There's people still a lot of people hanging around. Okay. No, I'm not leaving, motherfucker. And continues to screw with Kane. Kane's not appreciative. Then they make a bet. And that's halfway through the movie is when they make the bet. It really is. I paused and I looked and went, holy crap, this is the halfway point. And you're just now setting up this part, which is when I read the plot, the whole goddamn plot. That's really what this was. The plot, when I read up at it, was all about the second half of the movie. It completely ignores the first, which, that's ballsy. But bet is placed. First one to get 50 grand out of her. Oh, wait, she's broke. First one to bet her. Kane goes, no. But I will bet that you won't be able to do it. Turn around, and they just go. The first half of the bet is glorious. The second half of the bet is hilarious. And am I the only one who had problems with Martin's uniform? Please tell me that I'm not the only one, because he's trying to play as an American sailor through all that. The British sailors, they're British. But tell me I'm not the only one who had problems with that. I understand comedy, they're not supposed to, they don't have to hold dear to, but god damn it, come on. Anyway, that's me being nitpicky with my uniforms, I guess. So, second half of the bet goes through. It's hilarious. But that ending sequence, that final ending shot, wait, that's oh crap. Come back. That was the best 50 grand I made all year. Come on, guys, let's do it. And then just kind of waltz off into the sunset. And it's one of those, that's glorious. Now, at first when I was watching this, I'm sitting there going, could there be something said here if we were not treating this as a cigar is just a cigar? Could there be something to be said here about the virtues of high comedy versus low comedy? The true satire versus the farce? The physical comedy versus the intellectual comedy? And I know someone better than me could do it. It's nothing I want to mess with. But it's still a really good movie. Honestly, I'm kind of glad I watched this. I'm not kicking myself for not having watched it before. Like I did with Fistful of Dollars. God damn, that was a great movie. I'm not kicking myself for not having watched it before. I'm not ripping it to shreds with the critic's eye like I did with Death Machine. This isn't a movie that I have a long history of loving, like Who Framed Roger Rabbit. It's not a movie I have a long history of hearing you rant at me about, like Doom. This is a movie that's kind of been on my radar, just kind of on the edges. I'd seen the name, I'd heard the name, heard that it was pretty good, but nothing more than that. And having watched it, I'm glad I did. It was actually a really solid comedy. And it's Martin doing The Jerk. It is The Jerk physical comedy, which after a certain point in there, he stopped doing. Now, possibly because, yes, he was a stand-up. He was, to call him a stand-up is not doing him justice. He was kind of a theatrical comedian, if that makes any sort of sense to you. Hopefully it does, bro. He was kind of more of an all-around while doing a one-man show. So yes, technically a stand-up, but it's more than just stand-up. So how do you... Oh well. You know, you have Martin's stand-up career, which lasted a good long while, and then people started putting him in movies because he could act. Now, I'm willing to bet he also had proper stage career and has all sorts of training and high props from various schools and fucking productions. Dude probably has the Scottish play under his belt for having done it. I would not be surprised by that in the least. But mostly what he's known for is a very physical brand of humor in those early days. And if you look, Dirty Rotten Scoundrels is still very early on his IMDb list. So, he's still doing physical comedy. He's still able to do it. And that's the hard thing with physical comedy. If you watch the Stooges, you watch the Marx Brothers, you watch Abbott and Costello, you watch Laurel and Hardy, you watch Chaplin, you watch, oh God, what's his name from The General? Another great silent film comedian. Buster Keaton. Buster Keaton. He had a episode in Twilight Zone, the original. I think it was the original run. It's one of his last film appearances. One of his last appearances, and it's actually pretty cool. At least what I've heard of it. It's one of those I need to actually go dig it up and watch it. Kind of like Terror at 30,000 Feet with Shatner. Need to dig it up and watch it. That's not. We're here to talk movies, not television shows. But Buster Keaton, as these actors got older, they were no longer able to maintain that high level of physical demand. I mean, you take a look at Jackie Chan, who even now, yeah, he's still doing comedy, still doing his very physical stunts. But I want to say it was right at the point of Around the World in 80 Days. He started using doubles. He started using green screen. He started making the falls a whole lot less because his body couldn't take it anymore. The dude has broken nearly every bone in his body, been electrocuted. I don't want to think about how many times I don't want to think about how many different things. Jackie Chan's earned it. He's earned the ability to step back. But that high action comedy, that high physicality, where you're actually taking the pratfalls, yes, if done right, it's not going to hurt. But after a certain age, no matter what, a fall is going to screw you up. So, I mean, look at us. We're both 6'2", 6'3", somewhere in there. Us falling down, it kind of sucks. Even though we know how to fall correctly, it still kind of sucks. Because we have a long way to go. That was just one step, so you have an idea for people at home. That was one step. That's one step. That is how much of a difference one step makes when you're 6'2". Okay? I have long legs. So if I fall, I could stick my hand up and maybe be in the frame. But you can see how far of a difference it is. So, but this is when Martin is still doing his physical comedy. And he's fantastic at it. Michael Caine does some things that are physical comedy. But he's always been far more of a... It feels weird saying this, knowing who all is in the same group. He's far more of the he's more of a stereotypical Shakespearean actor. You know, one of the stereotypical people who you would think of as a Shakespearean actor. Someone who probably could rattle off that entire "Alas, poor Yorick, I knew thee well" speech from Hamlet. So one of those people who, like Hervé Villechaize, could prattle off the entirety of the "tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow" speech, which honestly is my favorite soliloquy in all of Shakespeare. But they could do that without thinking, because these are the truly classically trained actors. And when I think of, you know, that style of acting, that type of actor, I also immediately popping into mind are Sir Ian McKellen and Sir Patrick Stewart, who are absolute. Still have beard all over my freaking. My beard is all over my phone somehow. But, you know, I think of them as well. But they also do far more. I mean, they're not above doing the physical comedy. They're, to this day, they're careful about it. Damn careful about it, because they're not spring chickens. Although Sir Patrick doesn't look like he's aged a day since 1986. I swear to God, the dude has to bathe in the blood of innocence. But again, their humor seems to rely more on intelligence than it does more. I'm not saying they're not above a pie in the face. That honestly, I would kind of expect for that to have been a prank played on the set of one of the X-Men films. Or hell, I would kind of expect Sir Patrick to have flown to New Zealand just to screw with Sir Ian McKellen in the middle of a film, in the middle of filming on Lord of the Rings. Just ride up on a horse, boosh, cream pie, and run off. Absolutely nothing else, just in the scene, pie in the face, right off. Just to fuck with them. I could see them doing that. But I've been prattling on for about 17 and change minutes, almost 18. But yeah, I truly enjoyed this movie. In my mind, it was really worth the watch. So I want to hear what you have to say about it, bro. So catch you around, man. Deuces.